Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I know I've been gone for a while, but I'm back with a special episode. In this episode, we have a special guest with us. You may have already recognized her name from the episode title. She appeared on the latest season of American Idol. Sorry, I was about to say America Got Talent, but this is Grayson Torrence. Hi Grayson, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Pretty good. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Course, so please introduce yourself and maybe talk about your idol journey.
Hi, I'm Grayson. I was on this season's American Idol. It was very fun, very long, and I don't know, it was just a great experience, and I'm very, very blessed to have done it. And I met so many amazing people. So I don't know, it was crazy. It was very, very crazy.
Absolutely. And as we were talking about earlier before we started recording, um, so for those of you who do not know or do not watch American Idol, each round you do different songs. And so Grayson did this like lovely cover of Ceilings, which we were discussing earlier on. And my main question kind of is for you is with the arrangement for Ceilings, did you go with like the original plan or did you kind of like Graysonify it, if you will?
I would say Graysonify it just a teensy bit though. Because I like sticking to like the original melodies and all that stuff just to tribute that artist. But I was like, let me add just a little bit of a spin on it and see if that works. I was excited to do it though, and I think I'm very proud for what I did.
Yeah, I'm mostly like, yeah, when I was listening, like usually I don't watch live, I just watch the YouTube clips or whatever.
Mhm.
And there's songs like I don't know the song. I mean, Ceilings, of course, I know, but like with songs, like I usually choose it based on the thumbnail and how crazy the dress looks. And I should stop doing that. But nonetheless, I clicked on yours. It was absolutely delightful. It was enchanting, sound very like fairy like it almost sounded like the notebook, something you would have in the notebook as like a song or like Summer I Turned Pretty, right? It's giving like really like nice like I don't know how to describe it really. It's just amazing. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
So how's your idol journey different or similar to things you've done in the past?
I would say just the relationships that you make are very similar because when you go through things that kind of put you through the ringer, you make such amazing relationships. But when it comes to like how much work and the lack of sleep that you get on the show, was nothing like I've ever done before in my life. Um, because I even did like a writer's retreat in Nashville, like when I first turned 18, and it was like go, 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 go. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of prepared for American Idol Hollywood Week, and I was not at all. Not at all. There's a lot of us that were like sick coming off of Hollywood Week too, so it was crazy. But I think it's a very unique experience of its own, but the friendships that you make are just like so true. It's insane.
Honestly, yeah, I mean, obviously, like seeing what you see online, like on television versus what actually happens, quite different. Like, there's a lot of editing that goes on, but like, how's the no sleep aspect of it, or like the friendship making aspect? Like, how did you manage all of that craziness while also like having a good rested voice to sing?
So they do prepare you in advance. They tell you that they tell you all the rounds that you have to do in advance. The only two rounds that we didn't know about was the duets and if we were going to Hawaii or not. Like I had no clue Hawaii was even in the picture. So you get to like rehearse before you go on stage and they set you up for success so then you feel you're most comfortable up there. But the lack of sleep does not help. I think the latest night that we had was the duets round, and me and my partner Penny were up until like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then had to get up at 6 a.m. the next day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was very exhausting, but you're also like super just you have very high anxiety because you want to do your best. So then your adrenaline just takes over. And then you're fine until after you perform, and then you just want to zonk out and take a nap and go to sleep, which Penny did do after we did our duet. She took a nap before, like, we left the Orpheum Theater where we were filming, which was nice, but I was too anxious to. Um, but the friendships are absolutely insane. Like I just got off of a writer's retreat this weekend with a bunch of us from the season of American Idol. Um, and it was so much fun. We had a great time. There was a little bit of a scare like halfway through, but overall it was nice to see everybody again because I haven't seen those people since Hollywood Week, other than Nina Daig, who was on this season. I saw her because she lives in Ashland, Virginia. So
Mhm.
I see her a decent amount of times because we live so close together.
But that's like honestly like the whole, I mean, I think the community building that comes from it, like I have auditioned several times for these kind of shows, like during the production portion. And like just that portion itself is just so mentally draining because it's like you put in the effort, it is like constant rejection, constant exception. Like it's like very much like a whole like process. So kind of going into that, like how did the process look for you? And was it different from like, I guess the question would be, number one, have you tried auditioning for other shows? And if so, how is it different auditioning for this show in particular? And if not, like how is this audition process to you, I guess?
So I've auditioned for all of the shows before. So I've auditioned for American Idol, America's Got Talent, The Voice, all the jazz, all that jazz. But I stopped auditioning once like COVID hit for like everything because everything went online, and I really do not like doing like singing on Zooms because I feel like I sound so bad when I sing on Zoom or like anything like that, or have to submit a video. I'm like, oh, I don't like it. I like it better live. So I stopped auditioning for a while, and it wasn't this past season, but the season before, I auditioned and I didn't make it past the first round of auditions. And then a casting producer reached out to me and she was like, "Are you interested in auditioning for American Idol this season?" I was like, "I already have." And she was like, "Really? How far did you make it?" And I was like, "I got told no in the first round." And so she's like, "We're gonna change that." So I started working with her. She is like incredible. And basically I got in front of the executive producer and she was like, "Not this year, maybe next year." And I was like, "Okay, I understand." And this year came about, and then the same casting producer reached back out and was like, "Would you like to audition again?" And I said, "Sure, why not? YOLO. I've been told no until I was 21, so might as well do it again. Go for another no." And this time they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna send you through to the judges." And I was like, "You're joking right now." Because it was also so nonchalant how
Oh
she said
wow.
it. It was so nonchalant. She just started recording the Zoom call, and I was like, "Okay, maybe she didn't mean to hit the button." And then she was like, "Yeah, so blah blah blah, you did a great job, blah blah blah. We're gonna send you through to the judges, blah blah blah." And then like just kept talking, and I was just sitting there like staring at my camera, like, "What? Can you run that back one more time for me, please? Because I didn't hear you." I was like, that was not a big setup at all. I was just like, "Holy cow, okay, I guess this is happening." Um, but I basically went through all the same process that a lot of people go through, going on the show. But it was very anxiety ridden. I remember I set up my phone, I had everything done, and I was in like a holding room on my phone for like 30 minutes,
Oh
which
wow.
I'm very glad that they had me wait for so long, just because my anxiety got to calm down before I went and like did my little singing, because if it was too much, I felt like I would not have made it through, but thankfully I did.
I
Thankfully.
mean, I feel like for me, that's actually quite interesting because like for me personally, the more I wait towards this big build-up, I feel like I'm more stressed, right? Because it's like the
Oh,
constant build-up. So it's like I like how different we are, right? Because it's like for me, I actually have nerves either ways. Like even if like you jump throw me right in, I'm like literally shaking while doing it if it's something this big. And if there's like a huge build-up, it's like you're already anxious waiting for your name to be called, you know?
yeah.
Like for me as well, I just pretty much took a break from auditions. I was like, I tried all three. I did The Voice, I did American Idol, I did AGT, and I'm like, you know what? I can say I auditioned. No one
Yeah.
needs to know I never appeared. I could straight up just be like, yeah, well, I didn't make it past the first round. And I mean, the thing with reality shows is that, I mean, obviously you know this best, right? Is that reality shows are not actually rooted in reality. It's really just like you're getting these singers to show up, but they're not, it's not really a singing show or a talent show. more so like the story that wins, I guess. But although
Yeah.
this year I feel like the producers and like the America in general, they made a great choice with Jamal,
Oh,
right? We always are like having so many like issues with like people just voting because of the story and not the bigger picture. And oftentimes, yes, the story and the person and the music is all great, but this time Jamal was like the perfect person. He had the voice, he had the persona, he had this, it was everything. Like, but also
oh,
at
yeah.
the same time, it's also like there are always people in the comments being like, "Oh, this person deserved it. This person did not because they were having a bad story." And I would like to get your input on this. Is like with social media being a huge part of our lives now, like what was the feeling like when like reading comments and things on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram about your own performances?
So I refused to read the comments for the longest time just because I was so unbelievably terrified about what people would say. But every now and again, I would get like a notification on my phone and it would be like the bad comments, but half of the bad comments were just the word no. It just said no, and I was like, all right. I don't no to what specifically though.
Yeah, I see
Um,
that too. It's not just your ones, like just like Nina's or like John's or really just anyone. It just says no, no
it
three
doesn't
times,
make
like no, no,
sense.
no. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not sure what this means, but good for you, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just like, you know what? Not your cup of tea. Got it. But I just don't know what you're knowing. Is it my dress, my hair, like my singing, the song? I don't know. But just
I
know,
feel
you
like
know.
these days, um, this kind of off topic, but like Benson Boone, right? He's been getting a lot of hate for like his singing and music and
I
stuff, and like,
love his new song.
yes,
Controversial, but I love it. It's kind of
Moonshine's
good.
Moon Be My Scream. Oh my God,
So
love it.
good. My
I
last two
would
TikToks are with that sound.
I love that. No, that song is just amazing. I don't get the hate. People are allowed to have their opinions, but like I don't get the hate honestly. But but like for him to like he has this like very funny, sharp jab at people. It's like if you don't like my music, or just tell me, don't just say you hate my music. Tell me why you hate my music so I can
Yeah.
improve. Right?
Yeah.
And I think with haters, right, they have just too much time. At this point, someone just needs to kind of hire them and give them a job or like an internship or something, because like they have far too much time on their hands on like being like no no no's or like being like setting those like those emojis with like the green emojis with like
Oh
puke coming
yeah.
out. Sorry
Yeah.
guys, if for those of you who does not like the word puke, I'm sorry. I don't either. I don't know why I said that, but this episode is starting to become unhinged. But like, yeah, for sure. I do think that honestly, your decision to not look at comments is great because I think that it only drives anxiety, right? Even for me,
Yeah.
like when I post like music videos or like covers, I say that I don't look at it, but then I'm like literally hounding my notification, be like, okay, who commented?
Yeah.
Because like if I really didn't care, I would have just switched it off, but like I don't have the guts to do that. But like,
Yeah.
it's always so tricky because like this person, most of the time the hate comments come from like those images with like those black circles. Like there's nothing. Like their
Yeah.
account has no face to. And if it is a face, it's like Pokemon or like Dora or someone that's not real. I'm like, well, you're gonna hate, might as well show me your face, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Thankfully, like a lot of like all of the hate comments actually were just on the videos that like American Idol posted of my songs. So any of like my stuff didn't have it. So I could go through and like respond to everybody on like
Hmm.
my personal like pictures, which was great. And then I would give my phone to like my mom to like go through the American Idol ones and like all of like the good comments and her read them to me so I could still be interactive, but filtering out the bad ones.
That's good. I do think like, at some extent, like being away from the comments, whether they be good or bad, is always great.
Yeah.
So kind of speaking of which, like, with Idol and just your own music in general, like, do you believe in fate and manifestation?
Um, Honestly, kind of. So how I look at like manifesting things into your life is you're not just sitting down and not like having a job or whatever and being like, one day I'm going to be able to afford a Ferrari. Like, I'm going to do that. But you're not doing anything about it. Manifestation, in my opinion, is like, I want a Ferrari, so I'm going to work as hard as I can to get a Ferrari, you know? And I think that's kind of what I did like 3 years ago. I wrote in my journal like the words over and over again. I'm gonna be on American Idol. 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 Just over and over. Because it was right after. No, no, no. It was right. It was right before COVID, the last time I auditioned, and I was like, I'm gonna just put it out into the world, and then I'm still gonna work on it, of course, but you know, and hopefully I can come back and find this book, which I still have no clue where it is, but I'm gonna find it, I promise, and see that that did happen, and it did, but it also didn't happen without like personal growth and the personal work that I had to put in for it. And then I believe in fate, but it's like I think I call it a different word. But I can't remember the word off the top of my head because I'm losing my marbles at the moment at this moment. Um, but I believe that I was put into the competition not to win, but to, you know, do my best, meet the people that I met, create the friendships that I did, and come out like with the opportunities that I have. I don't think I was ever fated to win, which is a-okay in my book because I had a great time and honestly even though it was very, very sad to say goodbye to my friends when I got voted off, I was just kind of also very happy to be home because I was getting super homesick. I missed my dogs and I missed being able to sleep.
All true things. Yep. And so like honestly like what you just said right there about like, like manifestation straight felt like a call out to me. It was like I do that all the time where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get this big thing and then I mean not all the time. I feel like I do work for some of them when I have the clear motivation, but like I think that's just the key motivator, right? You have the key motivation, you need to be like having the drive to do something.
Yeah.
Again, as you said, just saying like, oh, I want this thing, but then actually working for it. It's like, just putting it out there, yes, but you gotta do the work behind it, right?
Hmm.
And
Oh
then
yeah.
also what you said about fate, right? Like for me too, I mean, I do think that fate depends. Like if it's good, I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was fate. But if it's like bad, I'm like, no, that's just the universe out to get me.
I know I have a different word for it, but I cannot think of it for the life of me. It's like fate. It's like you're meant to do something. It's meant to be this way, but I don't know the exact word.
Destiny?
Maybe? I think. I
I
don't
think
know.
destiny might be it. But like this kind of just like the way you repeat it, like I'm gonna be American Idol, I'm gonna be isn't there like a new trend like where there's like this music and then just like three lines and you just go saying the same three things over and over again?
Yeah, that was like super big. Like right when like TikTok started to get big and I downloaded it on my phone and it was like all these manifestation ways to do it, make like a dream board and all that stuff. And I was like, I don't have the money to make a dream board with all these pictures from random magazines, but I can do this one. So that's what I did. I was like, I can write this a bunch of times.
For sure. And so, you kind of talked about like the goodbye portion. Oftentimes, like on shows like American Idol, we don't see the goodbyes. Like
Yeah.
we just hear like, oh, you're voted off. But there's no like emotion showed after that, like unless of course the individual themselves is like looking sad. But there's no like hugging, none of that. So like how does that process work? Like do they immediately like kick you out of the hotel or do they give you time to like process and be like saying bye to your friends and everything?
So, it was a little bit different for studio, than it was for Hollywood Week. Uh, I remember we didn't get to, they got during Hollywood Week, I'm pretty sure they went back on like a separate bus. They went back a little bit earlier than everyone because then we would still be filming, but we were able to like see them at the hotel, hang out with them, spend time with them. I remember I got back and I saw my friend Pat and he was just standing there right next to like uh what is it? What was it? It was like a bar restaurant thing. And he was like, "Hey guys, I was waiting for you." And I'm like, "How are you already back?" He was like, "They put us on a bus and now we're here." And I'm like, "Oh, fun, cool." So I was able to see like him and a few of my other friends before they got flown back out. But for studio, after me and Kiana got voted off because we were the first two to get voted off for the what is it called? For the Easter show. And we left the stage, like the little lounge area where all of us were sitting. Um, and then we got to say goodbye to Jelly Roll. Roll was there outside. We got to hug
Oh, wow,
by.
that's so nice.
He said a bunch of super kind words. Um, Jelly Roll is just an amazing person. He is so sweet. I love him so much. I hope they keep him on forever because he's amazing. Anyways, that was my little tidbit. Um, but then, hugged bye to the producers because we also got super close with the producers as well that was working
Mhm.
on the show because they were with us all the time, just like the contestants were with each other all the time. But then they ask you if you want to go talk to like a therapist because they have like an onset therapist, if you want to go through anything. So I think all of us went to go talk to him, which is pretty nice that they have that there set up for us to get our emotions out and all that stuff. I'm surprised I didn't cry because I was the resident crier on this season, and I'm so surprised I did not cry. But I think I was just more happy for my friends. And before I got changed out of my like outfit that they put me in, I went to go grab my stuff and I saw Olivier because it was just me, him, and Kiana left. And I saw Olivier, he had a trash bag over
Oh,
over
wow.
his wardrobe so he didn't like get it dirty so he would eat. And he was like, "I don't deserve to be here." And I looked him straight in the eyes and I was like, "Don't you ever say that again because this just proves that you do deserve to be here. So like please stop." He's like, "But I'm gonna miss you so much." And I'm like, "I'm gonna miss you too, but I have your number. You can call me, you can text me." So it was nice to see them. And then I saw everybody at the hotel. They all came to my room that night. There was like 20 something people in my room that night. It was insane. But it was very sad to say goodbye, but I feel like that was like the worst part of it all. But we got to spend some time before, we I eventually flew out, so that was pretty nice.
Also, like, the reason I ask these questions especially is because, like, oftentimes us as viewers, we only see what we see on the screen, obviously, but then also what people tell us, right? They're always like, there's oftentimes like, oh, you're kicked off, you don't get to say goodbye. And they're always like these crazy, like, sham articles where, like, they're treated poorly. And of course, that is the case sometimes in some shows and their personal experiences that, but
Yeah.
like when you talk about like, your experience with Olivier, right? And, the friendships, you understand like, well, though it's a show, you still are real people and you treat like real people with like,
Oh yeah.
having the on-site help if you need any and
Oh
being
yeah.
able to like have all these experiences. So my last and final question for you, this is kind of a fun one, is if you would have stayed on, like, if the producers would like pick and choose who you would like to do a duet with, like within like your options of like the American Idol contestants from this season, but also like previous seasons, who would you love to duet with?
Oh my goodness, that's a really hard one. Can I pick multiple?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I really loved doing my duet with Penny. Like we had that planned out since Idol Arena when we both sang the same song. She was like, "I really hope like we make it to the top 24 together so then we can like do duets in future rounds because they always do duets eventually. We just didn't know how soon it was gonna be.
Hmm.
So definitely her. I would love to do one with her again. Josh King from this season.
Oh yes, that would be, I can see that. I can see that
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
We were trying to get, because he was in Virginia, we were trying to get content while he was down here, but he got sick, so we weren't able to do that. But we're trying to make a plan to see each other again so we can do that. Because we already have the songs picked out and everything, we just gotta record them. But
Mhm.
oh my gosh. Kelly Clarkson.
Oh,
I
you're
love
naming like
her.
really good ones.
I
For
love
sure.
Kelly Clarkson. Um, Ruben stuttered just because he also won amazing, but he won the season that I was born.
Oh,
The
nice.
year that I was born. So I was like, I have to. I love him. Who else? Who else? Who else? Danny Goki. I love Danny Goki. Um, and I'll pick one more. I'm trying to like choose between all of them. I would definitely love to do Carrie Underwood, but I feel like if I sing also beside Carrie Underwood, I would just like shrivel up into a shell and be like, okay, you can take the spotlight because girl, you deserve it. Because I'm gonna stand back here. But oh my gosh, what is his name? I'm losing my marbles. I see his face. I think he got runner up for the season that he did. Chris Daltrey. Chris Daughtry. I love him. I love him so, so much. Honestly, I feel like he was robbed. He should have won. Oh my gosh, there's so many good ones. So many people got their start on American Idol, like Tori Kelly, Jennifer Hudson. I don't know, just everybody. How about everybody? Yeah, everyone.
Yeah, and also like I personally, I mean, if I think you would like sound epic with like getting her name. Um no, I think she was on a different one. I was gonna say the puppet person, but I realized she was on AGT and not.
I've had a few people say that we look alike.
No,
Like a
not
few,
really.
because I don't really see it because I have like more white hair than anything. But I've had like people comment being like, she looks like, I can't even remember her name, but I know who you're talking about. And
Darcy Lynn,
yes,
I believe. Yeah.
yes, yes. But I've had people comment that. I'm like, I don't see it, but thank you
I
because she's
see
beautiful.
more. Yeah, I mean, I and honestly, I've been trying to not mention this, but like kind of remind me of like Kennedy Anderson from I think last season, I believe.
Wait, oh, okay, a lot of people have said that. A lot of people have said that, but I haven't. This is controversial. I didn't watch last season because I didn't have like Hulu or anything like that. I just like watched clips. Especially like Abby and like Will Mosley. I watched and Keiko. I think that's how you say his name. I
Mhm.
watched like their clips, but that's like it. Oh my gosh, wait, okay, I have to look her up now. Okay.
Yeah, and Kennedy like basically did Applause by Lady Gaga. It was
I
phenomenal.
love that song. I love that song.
So yeah, thank you so much, by the way, Grayson,
Thank
for being on the
you.
show. This was amazing. It was like full on like behind the scenes. I feel like a business insider right now. But no, this was absolutely amazing. Thank you again for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. It means a lot. This was fun. This was
Yeah, it
super
was really
fun.
fun. It felt like really much like a conversation. I was like, oh shoot. I looked at the time. I was like, wait a minute. I promised you it's gonna be like pretty short. But no, to everybody listening to this episode, I hope you had a blast listening to this as much as I had a blast doing the interview, which by the way did not feel like an interview. Um, so yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the episode and I'll see you all next month.